here. Let me turn this off. All right. Line these up down the
Yeah, how are you? I'm great, and you? I do. Yeah. How about that? Pretty stinking cool. Why would I ever do that? I want to be a grandparent that gives them M&Ms, not the disciplinarian.
True, I see.
I absolutely would never do it, even if they were around the corner.
Right.
Them daily, weekly. That's just-
February meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission order. And I want to welcome everybody in our audience here. And I would remind you that we do not have public hearings, so only the people that are associated with our agenda are allowed to speak. But we are very happy to have you all here. And I would encourage you to read the bottom statement at the bottom of the agenda if you do not know exactly why we are here. And I want to welcome all of us and Happy New Year for our first meeting of 2025. The first item on our agenda is the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. The first item of new business is a request of Corey Schrader to replace front porch columns and the front door at 603 Cabell. Is Corey here? Corey, if you would come up to that seat and have a seat. And if you would state your name again and your address, and then tell us the gist of your application.
My name is Corey Schrader. The address is 603 Cabell Street, and I wish to replace the existing front door with a more appropriate front door, and the existing front porch columns with more appropriate front porch columns.
And do you want to explain why you want to replace the front door to, it's not original?
Well, yeah, as you can see in that shot that showed the existing front door, that one, it's like a foot too narrow and 8 inches too short. So it looks kind of silly as is. We determined that the original front door was actually 2 doors that were probably 23¼ inches wide. But to take it back to that, I think would be a little difficult, because most of the time you would just use one of those doors, and a 23¼ inch wide door is just not all that conducive to modern life. So I was thinking of making it 1 door that's almost 48 inches wide and matches the same style as the existing back door of the house, that's the back door.
Yeah. And the columns that,
The columns are what I'm pretty sure is the original front porch columns. The half columns are still on the house. So I'm just going to replicate that in dimension and style with wood to do four new columns across the front.
are there any questions? There is a house across the street that has very similar columns that makes you think that this house probably had the same.
That was my thought too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Any questions? Comments?
Is there a paint color? Are we doing white for those since the existing?
We haven't gotten that far.
That's fine.
But we're going to do the whole exterior of the home as soon as it gets warm enough. But I guess that'll be a separate meeting.
Sure. And then the door, are you keeping that wood or did you want to paint that?
It'll be wood, but it'll get painted.
Yeah. It's custom made because of the size.
Yeah, it's, I'll have Michael Pearl at Bailey Spencer fabricate the door for me.
Other questions? Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. You're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And in terms of the color, just, if you would just coordinate with Eve when you get to that point in time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Starting to warm up.
Yay.
So, okay, the next action item is a request of, is it Atelier, Lauren? How do I say it? Okay, architecture on behalf of the City of Lynchburg Museum to do extensive work at 112 Cabell, which is Point of Honor.
I know you folks have images, but every now and then it comes off a little fuzzy on the screen, so just in case. That's site plan.
Okay.
And it's the same as your submission.
Thank you.
that you received a few weeks ago.
So Lauren, are you going to speak? Or
Yes,
Ted?
my name's Lauren Dionish from Atelier 11 Architecture Firm. We're the architect for Point of Honor, and Ted Delaney is the director of Lynchburg City Museums. So I thought I'd have Ted give a description as to what the Point of Honor is trying to achieve from a functional standpoint, and then I'll get into the submission.
Okay.
Okay, so good afternoon. I'm director of the Lynchburg Museum System, which manages Point of Honors, one of the two sites that we manage. And I'm also the secretary of the Museum Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that is going to build or hoping to build these structures at Point of Honor. So our board began a campaign almost 10 years ago, before I was even hired, to help improve the facilities and the structures that are at Point of Honor, just to make it more user-friendly, to help increase activity and use of the site. And there was a plan that was developed that actually was brought to this body before COVID. I think it was in 2018 that was approved. But because of COVID, because of some other changes to our budget, we have a new plan, a new design, and that's where Lauren comes in. And that's what we're presenting here to you all. And the idea is that we build this timber frame pavilion that's at the same level as the upper level of our carriage house, 2 small restroom dependencies that are shown like to the left you see there, and then some other small improvements made to the landscape and the hardscape. Again, all of which is designed to help increase use of the site, make the site more user-friendly, accessible, and just have more activity at this place.
Okay, thank you.
Great, so starting with the site plan, and I'm just going to point to things, and I'll try to project, and just let me know if you can't hear. So starting with the most basic of things, the site needs to be ADA accessible, and right now, there's no way to get to the existing visitor center. Oh, and to acclimate you, this is the main house, this is the historic house of Point of Honor. The office is historic, and the kitchen's historic too, correct?
It's on the footprint of the original,
Oh, okay.
but it's a 1990s structure.
And then this was 1990s as well, the existing carriage, they call it the carriage house because it's designed to look like a carriage house. However, it is the visitor center. And so by putting a pathway on grade, there's a nice slope now, so you just have a little bit of an ADA ramp and then landing, ramp, and landing. So it's barely even changing the grade, but it does allow people to park up here and be close. This is an accessible existing drive, and they're going into the house now, and then when they come out, before they have to go kind of across grass, or down a set of steps, which of course doesn't work for ADA, and then they have to go down another set of steps to get to the public bathrooms. Now, the public bathrooms are on grade with Norwood, but as time has gone on, they see that less people are using the facility and parking here. They're using these grounds and need the accessibility. So this will not only be great for ADA, but just for any elder person or anyone with mobility issues, they can now feel very comfortable using this. And N Station has been using the site, as well as Opera and the James, and of course, the wonderful Day at the Point, which happens every October. So now it will have the ability to get around. And when you come out, you come in the house here, you have your tour, and you exit onto this lovely little porch, So you'll actually be able to kind of see that path, so you know, okay, that's where I go next. Because when we go like, where do we go? What's next? And how do we get to there without crossing the grass? So now that will solve that problem. And it will just be a very simple, on-grade, concrete. We will probably color it a soft, light beige to look as much kind of like sandy gravel look, as opposed to just pure whitish gray. And then when you get down here, a lot of things, they built a wonderful paddock with these beautiful stone walls, and if Corey was here, he did not build these stone walls, but Corey, being a stonemason, knows that these are very nicely done, and they were to represent the paddock. But it's kind of mushy in there, and grass, and no one actually uses it. So that's why we decided to put the pavilion in that position, is that you already have these gorgeous stone walls, so actually at events, people can just sit on those walls, but be protected by the roof. Additionally, Ted mentioned that back in 2018, another building was approved, and it was an expansion of this carriage house that more than doubled the size. So if you can imagine the footprint going all the way up and over right on Norwood, it was a pretty substantial expansion. But they did find that so many of their activities are outside, that an open-air pavilion will serve their needs and serve the programming better. So school kids can come up here, they can be told different stories about the plantation. If it's raining, the field trip's not canceled. If Opera and James has something going on, they don't have to cancel, so now they'll have the outdoor aspect. There's also a very discreet connecting roof that you can barely see from any angle because it's light frame construction, so that you can walk from this new pavilion into the carriage house and use the catering kitchen, see the displays, go downstairs to the visitor center and gift shop. So it really helps to pull things together. Because they'll have tables, chairs, and everything else, they're adding a little lean-to shed here to the carriage house for outdoor storage. Then the bathrooms are here and here, and we can probably go to the rendering next. So you already have a beautiful set of stone steps going down here, so they stay. Then the bathrooms have access here, and instead of doing one big building, you often see, at National Park, you'll see all the bathrooms in one big building. So we wanted it to look more like dependencies or outbuildings that you would naturally have on a historic site. Their idea is every time they added a structure like the carriage house, it's to help represent what would have happened on the site, even though it's not original. So these outbuildings were often used to house storage or a smokehouse or a slaughter space or something like that. So all of that would have been on here. So we have these two buildings, standing seam roof, just like the existing carriage house. And we did, you'll see in our two-dimensional drawings, we upped the pitch a little bit to be a little more interesting. True divided light windows, board and batten siding, because again, outbuildings kind of went like main house brick, next house lap siding, next building, another structure, and oftentimes the dependencies were board and batten. As they got rougher and more rough and tumble, they got simpler siding, so the board and batten represents that change. And we faced the doors into each other, so there's literally 4 unisex bathrooms, or 2 men's, 2 women's, whichever. But when you're on the street, on Norwood, the doors aren't the main thing. And when you're up on the top of the property looking down, you're seeing simple little windows as opposed to the doors facing out, to try to be a little more discreet and look more like an actual dependency. Then the pavilion, which is in this location. We wanted to go more with something that was reminiscent of a barn, because this was, how many acres was it originally?
Originally 740, so a huge piece of
740
property.
acres. So I have a feeling my house might have been on the property. I live a mile away. But anyhow, so And as you've seen in many Parks and Recs locations, you see what they call a, oh gosh, Emmett, help me out here. What do you call those little buildings that, pole barns? Pole barns.
Pole barn.
Sorry. So pole barn was an obvious choice. However, pole barns have kind of stick little columns. They're only 6 by 6. These are 8 by 8, big hefty timber frame columns. Also, pole barns have like a vinyl ceiling, and it's just hard to dress them up. They're usually done with trusses that you don't see. So we wanted to express the structure and also give a little bit of history lesson to people that come visit, because the fact that we still do heavy timber framing, post and beam framing, it's an art form, it's amazing. It will take months of planning, but it will be erected in 3 days. Because when these Amish and/or Mennonite folks come on site, this is what they do all day long, and this thing will be done in 3 days. So we'll probably have a big party for the barn raising, because it will just be fascinating to eat your lunch out there and see half of it go up, and see how they maneuver everything. So it's beautiful from the inside and the outside. From a fire safety standpoint, a pole barn is made with very thin little 2 by 6 structure, so it can burn very easily. Heavy timber is known to not burn, because it's like a big log that just doesn't want to catch fire. The timbers are so big, so there's a special thing in our code that allows heavy timber, and it has like a better fire rating than other things. Also, many barns last 200 years. This one will probably last more because it's on a historic property. It'll be well cared for. Other barns, when the farm goes to disuse, they stop maintaining it. But in this case, this could last 400 years easily. And ones in Europe that are maintained will last that long. We also, as Ted mentioned, this is on the low slope. So whenever you take a picture or you approach Point of Honor, you do not see this building. It is off to the side. It's not meant to be in the front and center. We were very careful, and if you go back to the site plan, one slide back, please. It could have been here. It could have been here. And we discussed all of these locations, and we opted for here because we felt it's the most discreet area, and then it also served the more modern functions of the visitor center and then a gathering place. The stone wall that's existing, as we said, we actually, when they go to buy their furniture, we're going to have them actually buy cushions so that people, when it's set up, people will sit on the wall. If it's damp outside, they're sitting on a cushion. The wall is just the right height. And here's the layout of when they actually have events and parties. And so it lays out nicely for a banquet. And I know Pierce Street Gateway, we're having our yearly retreat at Point of Honor. This won't be here in time, but we would use it. This is a vendor option for like Day at the Point when they have a bunch of vendors. You can have 6 to 8 vendors in here. And then a conference option is if they're giving a historic lecture or a singing, some type of performance, you can have chairs and seating. It's not big, it's only 30 by 50, but it does fit a nice amount of people. So I think it can help their programming tremendously. There's a couple details we haven't picked out, so we can come back with those. We don't have our light fixtures picked out, and we don't have the handrail fully designed, but we're starting all of that. And this is a good one. So very simple, as you see on this end, because of this truss construction, there's no post here, so it makes it great for performances and different events. And then there's 4 10-inch, I think they are 10 by 10 columns is what they confirmed. So really substantial, something that doesn't need to be decorated. It already has a beauty inherent in the structure itself. And I often go to job sites and feel like the structure's so beautiful and then it gets all covered up. So this is one where the structure's so beautiful and it never gets covered up. The bathrooms, just so you know what they are, and actually I misspoke, it's 1 unisex on either side and then a double stall for men's, double stall for women. And this will be great because even though we don't have hordes of people out there, when an event lets out for intermission, a bunch of people go to the bathroom right away, so you need more bathrooms than normal, so that they can get through intermission and get back to their seats for whatever's going on. And this shows the 12-14 pitch. I mentioned in the rendering, we rendered it with that pitch, a 12-12. We felt like it needed a little more height to accommodate the height here and be nicely proportioned. A really simple angle trim with a little copper flashing at the top there. And again, the true divided light windows or simulated divided light windows, which are acceptable according to the standards, will be used. Then up at the top of the site, there's already a parking area, and you've probably seen it, but it's gotten a little beat up over the years. So all we're doing is cleaning up the edges, adding Belgian block trim 2 rows, so that when your tire hits, you know you've gotten to where you should stop driving. And we've done it this way: no parking bumpers, no white stripes. The Belgian block also defines where your parking spaces are, because if you ever go to an outdoor event, everyone parks all cattywampus. So we've got to help people know how to park. And then it's going to be pretty enough, because it looks about like this when it's done, that when they want it just for events, they can say no parking in this area, and it's a space for things to happen, outdoor events, and it's not on the grass. And then we also don't have our signage yet, but very low signs, like this height, that just says like no car entry past this point, and this will be a directional sign that says ADA ramp, you know, straight ahead. So it just helps people know where to go. I did want to let you know that we did speak to planning and zoning in advance, all of 5 hours ago. And we'd already had approval, as Ted said a while back, for another building, so this one was less intrusive, much smaller with the bathrooms. So, and like I said, when you're down here, because the grade changed, because this is 2 flights of stairs down to Norwood, you can barely see this. And when you're pulling around to get to parking, because you pull all the way around and then go up Norwood, we looked at all the vantage points, and you just barely can see this because there's a whole cluster of trees here, which nicely framed. So whenever like a photographer goes out there, this will not make it into the photo. And again, here, when you look from B Street down, it's so much lower in grade. This is like a full flight down, that it really helps it to set nicely on the site and not try to grab the attention away from the showpiece, which is the point of honor house. Any questions or more information?
Questions, comments?
What kind of doors will you be installing?
The doors will probably be a fiberglass door, but a nice profile. But the reason we're using fiberglass is we don't have covering over them, so they need to withstand a lot of weather, and we don't want them to break down like steel. But there's some fiberglass with good profile, so we can bring cut sheets of that as well.
Hardware?
The hardware is going to be,
Lock sets?
yeah, we'll be using probably Baldwin, and so it has to be lever style to meet ADA, but it can be a historic knob. We won't use that kind of real modern one that you see probably in this building. It has a more historic look to it.
And the windows?
The windows will either be Marvin or Anderson A series, but they're all clad, simulated divided light. They are insulated, so they meet the requirement of it being a simulated divided light versus, you know, snap-in grills or something that wouldn't be appropriate.
Other questions or comments?
Very nice.
It is.
May I ask a question here or
No, sorry. Sorry. Afterwards, you can catch them, so. If there aren't any questions or comments, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion.
Peter,
Motion to
okay, is there a second? Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, this is really
Thank you.
exciting.
Yeah, it looks great.
Very exciting, and you didn't leave us any room for questions. Okay. Our next item is a request of Martin Yastrebski and Talisa Eugenio? Okay. To remove 3 chimneys and do roof repairs at 2209 Rivermont. And if you would,
I don't know if you have any images, but I can give you photos. There's all different ones.
okay. And if you would tell us who you are.
Yeah, hi, my name is Marty Jastrzebski. Again, as you mentioned, the house 2209 Rivermont Avenue. And it's, thank you for your time and the opportunity to meet with you. Appreciate that. As you can see with those photos, the house is 106 years old. And from what we can tell, not just me, but experts, like, for example, the one that we most relied on was Black Goose out in Bedford. Ben Briscoe is pretty well respected in the community, but I've had others. And there's never been any type of maintenance done on these chimneys after 106 years. And when you look at the photos, if you're up there and even in the attic, if you rub your finger across the mortar, it just starts coming out. It's like sand. The brick is obviously over 100 years old, very porous. That's that, even though it looks like it's a Halloween scene, that is accurate from before it was covered up to prevent, animals and everything from the trees and so forth. And when it comes to repairing it, the consensus is that the bricks and the mortar is so weak as you go down through the attic and into the building itself, that if you were to put new brick on there, that weight, there's no guarantee that would hold up from a structural standpoint. And there's risk of, well, there's a danger, and then also if you were to, the only way to do it would be to basically tear the house down and start over from the ground floor up, which just is not conceived. It's not possible. And again, just wanted to ask if you would consider allowing us to remove those chimneys below the roof line, then obviously repair the roof to, with the slate. But just, I also have to rework the flue so that would run out through the side of the house. But again, as you can tell, it's in pretty bad shape. So I don't, if there are other questions, but again, I've tried to talk with people about, some maybe workaround options in terms of specific types of sealant, using things like limestone and so forth to maintain. But they're just like the integrity, the structural integrity of it is shot, and there's nothing you can do with it.
So at least one of them is active with a boiler or something? You said reroute a flue?
Well, there's a flue that comes out of there for the radiator heat. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
and
that
that's
the one on the right cap on it?
yeah. That's the only one with a cap on it, and that thing is. It's on there and it serves its purpose, but on the back side of it, there's some holes in there to where animals can get in. But
On the chimney itself?
no, not on the chimney itself. On that cap, they have a wire on that. There's some rust and so forth. So if a determined bird or squirrel wanted to get through there, they could.
So are you asking to discontinue all of the chimneys or just that one?
All 3 of them.
Emmett, what comments do you have?
I think you can imagine that the weather has eroded the mortar from roof down such that the whole things are gonna collapse. It would seem like you could either repoint or rebuild, depending on the level of, typically the mortar is only an inch or so deep has eroded, so you could pull out the loose and have a good mason repoint the chimney that's there. Removing the three chimneys would drastically change the historic image of the house.
Well, I guess I respectfully disagree, because from the street, you can't really see them.
The guidelines are very clear
Yeah.
that chimneys don't just get removed because they need some maintenance.
Well, if it were just some maintenance, I would agree with you. But we're talking about a tremendous cost to do that. And when I say tremendous, I'm talking north of $40,000 to even attempt to get those things replaced. And the opinion that the mortar going down wouldn't be sufficiently strong to maintain the new or repaired brick, that's not mine. That's coming from, again, someone that I think is respected with this community from Black Goose Chimney. So again, it's not me or some fly-by-night organization with that opinion.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with him, but I'm going to disagree with him.
Okay.
The chimney that's inside the building has not had the weather for the 100 years of its life. And not given an earthquake or something moving it, the weather that's on top, it's going to stay in place and be able to continue. If it needed some repointing in the attic, might be the worst place, but I'm assuming the chimneys inside your house are inside walls.
Right.
So have not eroded, the mortar has not eroded from weather over time like these, having been exposed to freeze thaw and moisture. So they could be repointed or rebuilt. Dollars, we don't get to make assessments on dollars.
No,
That's,
I understand that, but again, I don't know if your expertise is with chimneys or not, but I'm deferring to someone who is an expert. I'm not. I'm the messenger and just ask for that consideration, so.
I think that, for me, the guidelines are very clear that removing chimneys for maintenance is not allowed under the historic preservation guidelines.
It would make a huge difference to that house.
But
And
if you
you've
look at
never
the-
seen a 106-year-old house that didn't have chimney.
We can all take a picture and not see the chimneys, but
Yeah.
they exist and they are part of the historic fabric of the house.
Just from a standpoint of actually having done quite a bit of this type of work that you're looking to possibly do, and I mean, on a repair aspect of it, that is possible. And like Emmett mentioned, it's the interior parts of the brick were not exposed to the elements. So I'm not in the habit of giving suggestions or recommendations typically, but from this standpoint, I will to you. I would suggest you get a structural engineer to take a look at this and make an assessment on this, because I believe that you can actually, this could be repaired.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Do I hear a motion?
The commission may choose to table the item, to give him more time to see if he could get another opinion. That is also an option, just to throw that out there.
Yeah, and Black Goose is not a, I mean, what they do well. I've actually utilized it myself, you know. However, again, I would strongly recommend that you get a structural engineer assessment and perhaps a contractor that has experience in this type of work to look at this for you.
Are you saying that Black Goose doesn't have the experience to?
I'm not commenting on that.
Okay,
I'm just making a suggestion.
okay.
So do I hear a motion? And Steve said we can vote to table it for 1 month. or we
Would you
can
be
vote
amenable
to
to tabling
approve.
for a month to get a little more assessment and come back with further recommendations? Or you can resubmit just as you have this time. That's a possibility if you'd like to, having heard what you've heard today. But I think, you know, an assessment of the structural integrity certainly wouldn't be a bad thing.
No, I don't disagree with that, but, you know, get it turned around in a month. I don't know if I can get it turned around that quickly, but I can try.
Well,
I'd make a motion to table and for a resubmittal.
okay,
I'll second.
okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next item is the request of Victor Jose Munoz Guerrero of Maintenance Services and Supplies LLC to do extensive work at 1308 Clay Street.
Fine, we can share.
Yeah.
And any photos that you have submitted, we also have on our,
Yeah.
we have access to those as well, so. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, if you would tell us, once again, your name, which I may be butchered, if I did, I'm sorry, and state your request, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Victor. The first time in here, and I apologize because I think I got a meeting before, but it's my first time to make it a history buildings, and I got not too much experience about that one. So I'm trying to make it the best way and following you. And I got the letters from the county, the city, about the roofing, about the gutters, about the porch, and about the windows. So the first thing is when we try to replace a roofing and the porch, we have any metal materials on the porch. And when I was talking with the contract guy, he's put the wrong metal material, and the county talked to me, and I have to replace that one. So that is the first thing. After you approve, we have to replace. And I already have the estimators. It's on the screen right now. And I just need your approve for talk to the contract guy. And the other one is the roofing. The contract guy look, he say he's missing 81 pieces, and you have to replace for continuance and make it the same roofing. We got it. And we got a leak in 3 different areas. It make a lot of damage inside the houses. And we just wait for approve for fixing and replace the 80 piece that we needed. And the other thing is the gutters. So the gutters, we try to make it continue with the same material. They got it, but we have to replace all the plastic got around there. And if you see, it's like little holes in there, in the metal, but we have to cover with the same material. That's what was talked to with their contract guy with the roofing. That is another approve that I needed. The third one, it was the windows. The windows, we have to try to paint with the different colors, and the color we try to use is the green. I don't know if it's gonna be good for you or wanna keep it the same colors. And I already sent to the colors, that one right there, that you got on the screen. I don't know if you can approve this color right there for the windows. It's just a string around on the windows. And then we got 2 windows, it's not working. I already talked to with the guys working in history building, and it's gonna replace the use of the same materials. and then we have that at the windows. So I'm missing just like little piece of wood that inside there, the windows, but he's gonna use it like maybe 80% the same material we got in the windows. There's only 2 windows, we have to fix it out. And the other thing was on the porch, we make a mistake, we put a different piece of wood right in the corner, if you see that one. And then we have to replace that one and try to find something, make a match with the same wood we was working on the porch. So after you approve, we're gonna take it off and I put it something like, make it really match on it. And was there something else? I think that's it, that one. And the deck, we have to fix the ceiling, the bottom roofing, because we got it maybe like 50% the ceiling was really bad. The wood is not good. And we try to replace that one after we fix the roofing, because it's make it damage all the wet things in the back. And the deck we got in the back, we're not gonna paint, we're gonna keep it just the same, you got it there. But I just replace the roofing and the ceilings behind the roofing, because the wood is really bad.
So if there's no objection, let's look at this one by one. And the first item that I'm looking at has replaced the front porch, side deck, and rear deck metal roofs.
I got in here, if you need it, the roofing, the metal roofing that we're gonna use there.
Which roof is this for?
Front, side, and rear decks.
It's just on the porch.
Oh, just in the,
Front
just in the
porch.
front porch?
Front porch and the left side porch roof, they got the metal roof in there. Not the really main roofing inside the house, no, just on the round there. It's in the porch and they got another deck, little deck on the left side.
There's a new roof on the front porch now. It's a screw down.
I did that one, so I was talking to somebody out in here, and they told me I have to pull it out and put a new one right there.
Okay, so there was a stop work order on this project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what was the reason for it?
Yeah.
I mean, was it multiple leave?
Eve,
I don't think it was
can
approved, none of the work was approved, so there's a stop order.
you tell us what was done
At
without approval?
that point in time, it was work to the front porch and the front porch roof.
Okay. So,
That was 5 through 10. There was correspondence back and forth that it was inappropriate.
okay.
After the stop work order happened, there was some back and forth with Jerry and I and Eve in terms of that material not being appropriate.
Okay, but the material's been removed? The inappropriate material
Well,
has
it's
been
still there,
removed?
but he's proposing this estimate now, which
And
is,
is that
okay.
only for the front porch material, front porch roof material?
No, this one right there is just a metal roofing. Is gonna be at the one area in front of the porch, at the little deck you got on the left side.
so
3 porches.
it'll be
Yes.
this,
Yes, that one right there.
this. What about this?
Yes, all 3.
And what kind, is this
That one right there.
snap-on?
Yeah.
So that's
can you
the
pass that down?
appropriate.
Sure.
And you got them here on the second page, that specific
So,
numbers.
so is this the appropriate
Let's see.
now?
I mean, if snap-on is a high-quality roofing system, and it is standing,
Metal
Metal.
roofing like this has been approved in the historic district over the years. It doesn't have to be hand crimped.
right.
It can be machine crimped. That's been done multiple times here. The biggie is the height of the seam. You would just want 1-inch seams as opposed to the 1.5 or 2, which are more commercial sized. But this, I mean, we
It looks like the
recently,
1 inch is proposed.
recently, this has been approved,
This has been approved.
a similar.
Okay.
Now, I think there were some questions in terms of the slope. You do need to make sure that your installer knows what he's doing. On a slope that is fairly low,
Yes.
they have to do sealing in the seams before they lock them and clamp them down and run their machine over it. But it can go, if I'm remembering, down to a 2 and 12.
Okay,
You know, that front porch roof is only 3/4.
yeah.
3/4 and 12.
That's it. Maximum, perhaps half.
Then you'll need to talk to your roofer, because if it's that low a slope, I don't think they're gonna give you a warranty. They'll probably install it for you and charge you for it, but it's going to leak and it's gonna cause you problems. But if it's that low a slope, you won't get a warranty and it's the inappropriate material. It would either need to be probably a hand crimped flat seam.
Okay. We talked to him about that one. Just want to make sure that,
So would you like to make a motion and say what we're requiring so that there's no
For number 1.
question about?
I believe we can only vote on what's been submitted.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
okay.
we could
But we-
table,
yeah.
table and see if you could get a quote for hand crimping.
The appropriate flat
Yeah.
seam.
Mm-hmm.
Could we approve the other roofs in the meantime, the other porches, or are they all the same slope?
Well, have you looked at, are all 3 porches of the same level of slope?
yes.
Then they would all 3 be the same.
Table, yeah.
The table,
Okay, so we'll table this.
I'd move to table the porch roofing material for further submittals.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do you understand what we've done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk to him about that one, and what is the next thing? So I gotta send to you to the, estimated for the different roof, or just,
Yeah, correspond
Yes.
with Eve, and she'll work with you as to what she needs in terms of the submittal.
okay, perfect.
Okay, item number 2 is repairs to the main slate roof. Questions or comments?
I don't know that I heard you say it, but I'm assuming, and I don't want to, when he does these repairs, he's putting slate back in there?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I think it's the same, yeah. Just making sure it's keep it the same.
I have no issue with that. I make a motion to approve the slate roof repair
Yeah,
as
I'll
submitted.
second that one.
Okay, any discussion?
Making sure they clarify to match existing.
Oh, please, yes. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, Eve.
There's-
The color profile matches as
Yes.
close as you can.
Yeah,
the
it's gonna be the
existing
same
roof.
match, yeah.
Mhm.
I saw that one, yeah.
Okay. And Julie, you'll?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
second that one.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All righty. Number 3, repair hidden gutters and add an EPDM lining.
Yes, we're gonna use the same material there, but just replace and take it off all these and put in new ones. Because that one is really old, it make a lot of damage inside the softening and inside the house too. There was a lot of humid there inside.
So are these hidden gutters?
Excuse me?
Hidden gutters?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I apologize, maybe I'm slow
Yeah.
and just need some clarity. When you say repair them, to me, that means you want to repair them to what was there when it was built. And then you said put EPDM on them, that was not there when it was
Yeah.
built. So it seemed kind of like you're doing both, or help me understand?
Yeah.
No, what I have to do, I'm gonna take it off all the line and I put a new one right there, but it's the same material.
I think Michael,
The
you can
holes.
see there's rubber in there now that apparently was done a good while back and
Right.
has deteriorated.
So pull the patch off and put a new patch on.
Yes.
The front porch has completely been redundant with EPDM.
Yes.
Was that approved?
It was a good, the only thing is, they don't make a good level. And I was to talk to the guys, when it's the rain, we make a little stop on one side, I talked to him, I gotta fix it that one, but I need to approve first the metal material, try to make it work together.
Are you saying you're adding metal over the existing EPDM that's already been done on the front porch? I'm not sure if I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but the guy is gonna come in like here,
Mhm.
it's not like.
So you will cover it with metal and
Yeah.
slope it?
No, it's gonna come in with, like, not cover all the way, just like half coming here, because they got gutters in front too, for the porch.
Okay, I'm still not understanding. Okay, the backer
Okay.
and the bottom, if you will, on the existing hidden gutters are all EPDM on the front porch now?
No,
What do you mean no?
no, they don't have anything in the back. So like gutters, they don't have anything, it's like completed.
Okay, there's EPDM in the gutters on the front porch
In the
now?
front, yeah,
Yeah,
in the front, yeah.
right. So was that approved?
We not replaced right now because they started working just in the middle. But if you're gonna approve, we're gonna take it off and put a new one.
Well, they got a stop work. They had started
Was that
work,
one
but they
of the
got a stop
items?
work order.
Yeah, we
It was
stopped
one
that
of the
one.
items.
Yeah, so they were doing work,
Yeah.
but the city found out that nothing had been submitted to the HBC,
I
so they
see,
had a
okay.
stop work order. So in theory, what's there in place either has to be approved or removed and per new submittals.
So to answer his question, the answer is no, it wasn't approved.
Correct.
Is that?
It wasn't approved.
Yeah.
Okay, we are here now, okay.
So in terms of EPDM and hidden gutters, that is a typical application. I mean, we've had several recently of those that, yes, go in. I think you need to be careful. Eve, could you go back to the photos that you had? I mean, there, if you have a hole in the gutter, that hole needs to be patched before the EPDM goes over top of it.
Yeah.
So you need to do some gutter repair before you do the EPDM liner inside it.
Yes.
But an EPDM rubber inside the hidden gutter is a very typical installation. I've seen many, and we have seen multiple in recent years.
So we have to like cut it, put a new piece of metal?
You need to get that, I'm not sure, is that copper?
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
But yes, you need to get that repaired correctly, because if not, you're just gonna put the rubber in there, something hits it, it's gonna go right through, there's no backing to stop it, to stop an impact.
Yeah, but we can do that one. We can look like
Yeah.
cover something before to put that one, right?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, you're a contractor. Are you a licensed contractor?
no.
You're
I got a
con-
license, but not for this building because these are buildings, I don't wanna make a mistake with that one. So I
Okay.
already talked with some guys making the keys to the buildings in this area for the roofing, and then he told me like, that is the reason he sent to me this native.
Yeah, well, the EPDM, somebody did a good job when I looked at it. But, yeah, your contractor should guide you on how to properly prepare that gutter before it's covered.
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion regarding the hidden gutters?
I'd
With an
move that
added
the
line.
hidden gutters can be relined with EPDM, but only following appropriate repairs to the metal of the original gutter prior to installation.
Is there a second? Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Passes. Item number 4 is repair, replace the front porch trim, ceiling, floorboards, and stairs.
Can you tell me a
Yeah.
little more about how you intend to do that? We saw a picture of a corner earlier, and it looked like a synthetic wood on the bottom, and it's pine, it's a real wood on top. But, yeah, can you tell me more about what materials you plan to use when you do the intended repairs?
You're saying the ceiling or on the corner and the battery?
I'm sorry?
You're saying the ceiling or on the corner?
Well, I think what she's highlighting there
Yeah.
on the lower section, is that not a synthetic wood?
Yeah, the thing is that we make a mistake where, because when I make it a porch, that is the material I use for the board. And when I did that one, of course, I have a complaint because I used to the building and try to use the same materials got in the porch. So what I have to do, I got to take it off all this wood because they have no wood there before. It was a wood, but it wasn't really bad. And we have two problems in the porch too, inside, in the foundation area inside, and the wood wasn't really bad. So we replaced just all this part right here and put a different material. But what I have to do is take it off all this piece right there, and I put it some wood and make it match with the materials they got in the porch.
And the material that you'd be replacing is which material?
It was the same you got in the deck and the porch and the.
Which type?
The wood, honestly, I'm not professional, but I already talked with the guy and he showed me what is the wood, exactly what that has to use there for that.
So should.
Can we kind of walk through,
Please.
from
Yeah,
ceiling and
from-
trim down,
yeah.
kind of go item by item to make sure?
Yeah, we're
I'm
going
I'm
from
not
the bottom
exactly
up now.
understanding what is and isn't
Yeah.
having to be addressed.
Yeah, and the repair, replace.
So, so let's start at the ceiling. Are you having to do any repairs to the ceiling of the porch?
Yeah, the ceiling,
Those have been done, so that's the after photo at the
Yeah.
bottom right.
With
So what
plywood?
is it? What material is used?
the ceiling, they already fixed it, that one.
With what?
What?
It was the same material, it was the wood.
No, that's not the same.
No.
If you can see, you don't see
Really?
any different because it look like the same.
You only see one seam in there.
One side of it.
Okay.
No, excuse me. I didn't look at the entire, there was a section of it that was replaced. Actually, there was 3 sections. And I didn't observe what one of them was, so I don't know.
Okay.
Meaning, will that be inspected, will a city person be on site to look at that?
In terms of,
Well, I mean, obviously, it's a beadboard ceiling now, and it would need to be a beadboard ceiling in its replacement. The picture of the after picture is.
Yeah,
I
there's
can't
not,
really tell, it almost looks like plywood from here.
Yeah, it looks like
yeah, part of
plywood.
it is not
Well,
beadboard.
It is
The other thing is they're going horizontal versus vertical or vice versa, depending on how you're, like the direction of the, unless the photo is from
No,
a different
because
direction, maybe?
Yeah, it's the photo,
It's
because
turned.
they make the
Oh.
one in here and that one the different size.
I see.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
but part of that is not beadboard.
Doesn't look like
It's not.
Yeah.
You've been on site?
Yes,
Okay.
yep.
Can you tell what it is?
No, it's just, no, really, it was painted over.
Like a plywood?
Heavy.
It
Yeah,
looks
it's a
like
rough
gooped
finish.
over. So first of all, that porch ceiling needs to be the same material that was there originally. It's a beadboard, it's a thin, narrow style wood. It would have to be the same material that was there beforehand with any repair, replacement elements.
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
And you want to, any of the trim around the porch, is that intact and in place?
Yeah, no, we don't change anything
Okay.
around, just the piece on the ceiling
Yeah.
and the corner right there on the bottom.
Yeah. The walking surface, the deck itself, is that in good shape, or has that been repaired or replaced?
We replaced just one piece of wood. It's not the picture, but it's just one piece.
Okay, so that's not being.
But that one is good. That one is wood.
Okay.
The only problem is right there in the corner, if you see in the board, that one is not wood. It
Yeah,
look like
yeah,
something.
agreed.
Plastic or something like that.
Yeah, let's just, in terms of the porch floor itself, are you painting that?
Yeah, we're gonna try to paint it.
Okay,
The
so-
same color, I don't know if you're gonna approve, the same green we use it for the doors and, the windows.
So you do have a submittal on the color?
Yeah, that's at the end of this.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, colors at the end. Okay, and now the last picture that was at the corner. Ooh, wait, go back, can we go back a little bit? So the top of that column on the bottom right are all the columns in good structural condition?
Yes, yes.
Okay. But yes, that right
Yeah.
there is inappropriate material, would have to come off and be a wood that would match the original house in terms of size and profile.
Is that like hardy board?
Some sort of plastic, something.
Yeah, looks like plastic, doesn't it? Yeah.
And is what we're seeing above that, where you repaired the deck, the floor of the porch?
In the back?
The unpainted piece of wood there?
Yeah, it's just one piece, it's what I talked to you, we replace this piece of wood in the corner. Not the board, it's talking about on the floor.
And just know you've got to get that painted well, or it's gonna rot fast and maintain it.
Yeah.
But, so I guess in terms of a motion,
I have one question.
okay,
Back to the ceiling, maybe this is a moot point if it's not the right material, but it was painted white, but before it wasn't. Are we approving a paint color?
is that later?
Paint's the
That's later.
last one.
Okay, I just want to make
Yeah,
sure
that's
we
later.
weren't
Yeah.
speaking to that when
Yeah.
we say, yeah.
Okay, Emmett, what's your motion?
That the ceiling porch be repaired with a bead board to match existing in size and profile, and that any trim work on the porch, we're talking front porch here, because there's some other porches
Yeah.
later, be repaired, the inappropriate materials be removed and be replaced with a wood material of matching profile and size.
And in the first one, we mean to original versus not
Yeah.
matching to existing, but
Yeah.
to original.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to clarify.
Okay, is there a second? Does everybody understand the motion? Michael, you look confused.
So basically, the porch ceiling has to match the original, and the trim around the base of the porch has to match the original in both material, size, and profile.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Opposed?
Sorry, who seconded?
Hmm?
Who seconded? Oh, I'll second that.
Okay,
Yeah. thank you.
sorry. Okay, let's vote again now that we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, now we're moving on to repair, replace the side and rear deck trim, ceilings, stairs, and other elements as needed. So have you done any work on these?
Stop the working with, we need to make sure that we're not gonna make a mistake with that one. So in the back, we're gonna keep it just the same, but the only we need is just, replace the roofing, and put it in metal, and the ceilings, and the roofing, just that area, because the wood is really bad. We try to make it the same material we use it in front. You don't see any different because make it the same mesh. And that's the only we're gonna make in the back. That's
So the
it.
porch floors and railings are all intact?
Yes, it's a wood material.
Well, we can't make that come off.
Yeah.
It's obviously a later period in doesn't match the house, but, you know, we don't have the power to say you shall remove it. You know, if it's there, it's there, but maintaining it and having it structurally sound is appropriate. So we've already talked about the roof in the first item, and if the ceiling of that upper porch and any of the others would need to be repaired, just like we just talked about the front porch.
Yeah.
The ceiling would need to match
Same material.
material profile and size.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like there's a couple different sizes on there.
It's had a little life over time, hasn't it?
One of those floors is sloped towards the building instead of away from the building.
Yeah, we walk in there, it look like okay, the problem is the ceiling. The ceiling look really bad, but on the floor look okay.
Mm.
I guess, but we don't get to do structural analysis. That, in terms of a city code official would have to speak to, you know, any structural issues. So I'd make a motion that any porch ceilings be repaired in kind to match material profile and size.
Okay.
Of the smaller ones, or because saying that replacing in kind would be,
Well, I think the original beadboard.
okay.
Is there a second? Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
And trim is gonna be in the paint later on, Eve?
Yeah.
Yes. Item 6, repair wood windows. So you said there was just the one window?
It's gonna be 2 windows.
Okay.
It's gonna be 2 windows. That one is downstairs, but are we gonna use the same materials with the windows? Because I was talking to the guys making the history windows for the building, and then he told me he can use the same material guy there. You have to replace just the little pieces, that's it.
Mm-hmm, okay. And the glass is intact?
No, I'm missing like 3 or 4 pieces.
Oh, okay.
Can you scroll
Well-
down?
The broken window was a divided light, and all of those,
Yeah.
One-on-ones.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
So it would seem that you would, this is a later window,
Yes.
and probably a later window is lesser materials, and that's why it's rotten and the others aren't. So your replacement window, your repaired window would want to match what we call 1/1, one whole window, the 2 sashes that move.
Yes.
Because there's no little guys in it, no mullions, it's called a 1/1, so you would want to match that 1/1 sizing.
Yeah, and the guys making inspection, he told me it's gonna be the same, the way we got it before.
Okay.
And he told me gonna use the same material, you have to replace maybe a little, couple pieces of wood, but he told me the woods and the framing is good.
Mm-hmm.
Not 100%, but he's gonna try to work it with the same material.
I think this one is on the back of the house and the
Okay,
others
and
are
it
on the
does look
front.
like the rest of the windows on that level, which it looks like it's the very, like, probably basement from the front, but from back.
Yeah,
it's
it's on the
level.
front
They're all
back,
the
yeah.
same
6
pro-
over
Yeah,
6.
it's
Yeah.
6/6, it looks like.
Oh, okay.
So I guess that level was just a different, shorter.
On the rear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's underneath the deck.
Yeah.
Most of the windows are.
Okay.
Okay. And you're using just plain glass?
Use
Clear glass?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a view on the right side of the building or no?
There's one there, you see the one on the lower?
Right.
And then in here.
So
If you
is,
I'm sorry.
So it could be 6 over 6.
I meant if you're facing the building, is there a pic of the right side? There's an interesting window on that side. On the second story.
Is it something that's part of that application?
I'm assuming there's nothing will be done with them. No, yeah, the white one there, on the second floor.
The arched one?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that is probably in the
Yeah.
stairs.
Interesting.
Are you doing anything with that?
No, what I'm asking you, the window is perfect, the only need is approve if you can paint and change the color for green one, the green colors.
So no work, well, just,
We can paint it?
we'll get to that one.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So
Okay,
motion
a
for this
motion.
one, yes, I move to approve repairing existing wood elements to the 2 6 over 6 windows existing to, and getting them back into serviceable condition, serviceable and operable condition.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Item 7, paint the windows and the front porch floor green. Paint decks, fascia, soffit, and porch columns white. And how about the color of the ceiling of the porches?
The porch is gonna be white, if you see the pictures.
ceilings.
I don't know if it's good for you, or we have to change the color. Well, we make it a ceilings, and the trims around is just white. The only things we're gonna paint a green is the windows and the doors.
And if
And
you
the
have
floor.
the color, the green,
Yeah, so the window's already been painted the green.
We only painting 2
And the-
windows in
and the
front.
door.
And what you got in the porch. The other one, we don't touch it.
So the rest of the windows are gonna stay the color they
It's
are?
gonna keep the same color. No, we try to paint all the windows, but we stop the paint now.
Oh, I see.
Try
what
to
you're
make
saying.
sure it's approved
I
first.
see what you're saying. So the idea is have all the windows in the house that green?
green.
Okay. The front door and the floor. Okay.
So am I understanding correctly, you plan on painting all the columns, the front porch, the columns, the ceiling, and the floor all white? Is that correct?
No, yeah,
The floor is
the
green.
the floor is gonna be green.
Green, okay.
Green, the same color you got the,
Mhm,
of the windows. Of the windows,
Yeah,
yeah.
But everything else will be white.
Yes.
How about the boards underneath that you're removing the fiber board?
It's gonna be
The
green.
composite board that you have in there now, what color will that be?
It's green.
That'll be green, okay.
Green.
And how about the other porches?
In the back, we're not gonna change any colors, just stain, because that one is stained. And the left side, make it the same, just green colors, and it's just the ceiling white.
Okay.
The rails,
The rails are
Rail.
green.
everything's green,
Mhm.
handrail as well.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Any
Is that
questions?
to your intent on the front porch?
Yeah.
The front porch also, that the railings would be white?
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
What do you think of the green of what's now? Yeah.
Color is so subjective.
Sure.
Yeah. So, do I hear a motion?
I just need clarification on one thing.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I understand front porch. What is the color scheme for the side porches in the back?
In the back, they don't have any colors, so we're gonna keep it the same.
You're not painting it?
Just stain.
Yeah, just stained.
Just stain?
Yeah.
You're staining it?
Yeah, stain.
Okay. The side as well?
The side is like a beige, It wasn't the front the same, so what we want is try to paint it green, the same green, we're talking about the windows, and just the ceiling white.
Okay, so the ceiling will be the only part of the porch that will be white, everything else will be green?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Except for the column, the railing will be white.
I'm sorry, say again?
Yeah, the railing will be white.
Okay.
The white?
Is that right?
Oh, it's supposed to be a green ball.
Green,
We're gonna put it
okay.
white. It's not a brown.
The column's white. Well, now I'm confused. Would you go back to the front porch, Eve, please? Okay. So the columns are white on the front porch, okay.
Are you hoping to just do the two colors just so that you can, just for cost, to not have to do like multiple colors, or out of just simplicity, or I'm just kind of curious, or not maybe knowing what other colors would work, or?
No, we saw a couple buildings in Richmond, and they use the same colors, and I work in that buildings, because I work in construction, is making a little apartments in the downtown in Richmond, and that is the same colors they use in the downtown buildings, like the same that we got in here. The building is like over 100 years old, and they use it the same.
Oh, okay. Like, is it residential in
Yes.
downtown?
It's residential. There was old factories there in the downtown in Richmond, and they changed like 25 years ago, and they put apartments, resident inside. And the color they use on the windows was the same color, because I painted it, so. They use the same colors, and try to make it like that one, but I don't know if it's gonna be approved or not.
Forgive me, it might be my lack of vocabulary here. When you say fascia and whatnot, when I look at the front of the house, there's a kind of a triangle over the front porch and the windows as well. You're painting that as well?
You say where the doors, or?
Right there.
Right there?
Yeah,
That one is gonna be white.
That's what I was asking, okay.
Yeah, the white.
And over on the attic, the windows, any surface that's not wood, are you painting all of that?
It's supposed to be, yeah.
Okay,
So everything white except for the floor
of the porch?
of the
And
porch, the windows and the door.
And the rails.
Sorry, I was,
On the front, I understood the rails were white.
He changed, he said
well,
green,
I
white.
thought they were too, but they're green. The railings are gonna be
Just on
green.
the side porch.
And what in the windows?
Now, on the front porch,
No, the front porch, that one is white.
yeah,
everything
okay.
The handrails, yeah. Handrails
Okay.
are white, yeah.
Okay, we're back where
Yeah, well, yeah, thought we were.
Okay. Other questions? Do I hear a motion?
I like the green to be a different green, probably, but again, we don't have the power to say it shall be this shade of green versus that shade of blue. So from that standpoint, I am going to go through, I'll make a motion to approve the paint of all exterior trim of windows, doors, and porch to be white.
To be green?
I'm sorry. No, I said trim,
But you said
wait.
doors, and he wants the doors green.
and windows.
but just the door is green, not the trim around it.
Oh,
Okay.
No, it's a green, the trim.
The trim around the door is
The whole
green
Yeah,
as
just the
well?
front door, yeah, it's a green. I don't know if you got the pictures there or not. I think of the picture.
So like around the transom and the side lights, that trim will all be green around the whole door?
Yeah, all the framing is green.
Okay.
I don't know if you got it on the picture, you can see that one there.
Oh.
no.
Oh,
So this is just an example photo, this is not
No, this is the house.
This is it.
Because they did it, yeah.
It's been already.
But typically,
Yeah.
trim would be a contrast color, so like white.
Yeah, the trim should really be white.
So I think maybe continue with what you
Yeah.
were saying, Emmett.
Yeah,
Just go there.
I can change the color if you want.
Yeah,
just in conversation here, it would be better if the trim of, the door a color,
Okay.
but everything around it, the white
Okay,
of the whole vocabulary. And really the same thing on the windows, that if you wanted the sashes, the two parts that move, to be the green, but the trim around it to be the white.
look at this one right there.
And I could let go of the windows.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, but not the door, because
door.
the door,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful.
Oftentimes on a window like this, the two moving parts, what we call the sashes, would be a different color than the rest of the window, the rest of the wood parts. It's not an absolute, but in terms of a level of detail,
Okay.
historical accuracy, that would be something nice.
Okay.
But again, we can't force you to do that.
No, but I'm trying to follow you.
Yeah.
So if you tell me you're gonna make the framing doors, the main doors, white, we can paint that one white, just keep
Yeah.
it, the doors,
Yeah,
green.
the door green.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
if you go to the front door, that the door could be the color,
Mhm.
but everything around it, the white.
Yeah.
White, okay.
Here on the window, quite honestly, you could do it either way.
What about the sill?
So, is that sill wood or concrete?
That one's concrete,
Concrete? Are they all that way?
yeah.
It would seem like again, to match the front door, to have the sill and the frame around it white, and then the sashes the green,
Yeah.
to kind of pop them out,
Okay,
would be the way to, a more appropriate, historically appropriate.
yeah, I will, gonna paint it,
Approach, okay.
it's good.
You'll be happy.
Yeah, no.
So
The
do we
neigh-
start
the
over?
neighbors
Start
will
over.
also-
Okay, paint,
Maybe a little bit
front
helps.
porch, everything white with the exception of the floor, green.
Right,
In the door.
that's right.
Front door, green, but everything around it white.
Yeah.
Windows, everything white except the sashes, green. Is that everything on the front porch?
Yeah, the columns,
Everything.
Everything,
Everything
yeah.
white except
Yeah.
for the porch floor.
yeah, yeah.
And
that's-
then the rear deck stained, because it is already stained and we can't do anything, but the new repaired ceiling white
In the back,
in the back.
we're gonna try to keep it as stain.
That's stained?
Yeah,
The
it's not
ceiling?
a stain right now, it's like a beige, just the ceiling in the back. But if you got everything stained,
Okay, if it's already stained, it can, yes, would be
Keep it a stain
appropriate to
out.
stay stained. We couldn't do that. And then the side porch, to emulate the front porch, same white, white on white on white.
And the
then
ceiling,
green
right?
floor.
and the ceiling, right? So white in the ceiling and the rest is gonna be green, right?
No, I thought
Only the floor.
everything white except for the floor, green.
You're talking about the left side, right?
Yes, the side porch,
Everything white, just the floor green.
right.
Right.
Gotcha.
Are we sure the back porches are stained?
Yeah, they're just raw wood right now, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
But
think they
staining
were-
would be
I don't think they
appropriate.
were ever
Yeah.
finished, more likely. They were just put up and
Yeah,
left
that's what it
to-
looks like.
to weather.
Or you think it's gonna be better to paint the back white?
Yeah, it'd be more attractive than, it looks ugly the way it is, in my opinion, just raw wood. You know, it's weathered.
So
It's unsightly, in my opinion.
paint white?
It could be that to match the rest of the house, it would drop in a little more.
And then the floor green, right?
That'd be fine.
Okay. Get all that, ladies? The nuances of that?
Okay, did I have a second on that?
I'll go ahead and second that.
Try and second?
Yeah, I was fine, I was tracking.
Okay. Any questions, sir? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right. Well, with those changes, and Eve will help you understand
Okay.
what we've done, and we thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your help.
Wish you well. It's a beautiful, beautiful house. So.
Thank you.
You'll be hearing from Eve, so.
Okay,
You'll be
so
good.
I'll have to wait here.
No, you're good.
No,
You're good to go. She'll be
I'll
in contact.
I'll email you tomorrow.
Coming tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. No, I'll email you.
Ah, you're gonna email?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Bye.
You too.
Thank you. All right, our last item is, lost my agenda, but it's the Hunting YMCA.
Yes, and we
So-
have our planner, Charlotte Lester, here to give us a little overview.
Okay, Charlotte, you have the floor.
Thank you. I'm a neighborhood planner in the Department of Community Development, and I want to just provide a little bit of background or context for this nomination. The Hunting Branch Y, today known as the Hunting Randolph Community Center, is located in the Diamond Hill neighborhood. And just since I'm talking to the Historic Preservation Commission, I want to make sure you understand what I mean by the Diamond Hill neighborhood. I'm talking about the broader Diamond Hill neighborhood outside of the Diamond Hill Historic District. So I'm referring to the area between 12th Street and the Expressway, and then from Kemper Street down to Church Street. So in 2023, staff began to formally work with the residents and stakeholders of the Diamond Hill neighborhood on the development of a neighborhood plan. The plan was adopted by City Council on December 10th of 2024, just a few months ago, and it includes recommendations to position Diamond Hill as a strong and healthy neighborhood. Of particular interest to the HPC, the plan recommends preserving neighborhood history in order to strengthen neighborhood identity. Recognizing historic places such as the Hunting Branch Y is an action which helps us to achieve this goal. The Hunting was identified early in the neighborhood planning process as an anchor institution in the Diamond Hill neighborhood, and also as an important place in Lynchburg's larger history. So staff began conversations with the Hunting Randolph staff and board of directors, it's a nonprofit organization, to explore the nomination of the Hunting Branch Y to the historic registers. With their support and with community development block grant funds awarded for neighborhood improvement projects in Diamond Hill, the city contracted with Purvis Historic Preservation to prepare the nomination. The project launched on November 30th of 2023 with a public information session about the nomination process hosted by the Hunting Randolph Community Center. Purvis Historic Preservation then completed research, conducted individual interviews, and held a public listening session on May 25th of 2024 to gather information and prepare the robust nomination. So why nominate the Hunting Branch Y? As you see in the nomination package, in the narrative statement of significance, there are 3 areas of significance which Ms. Purvis has identified for the nomination, and that's on Section 8, pages 15 to 16. So first, ethnic heritage, second, social history, and third, architecture. So there's definitely some Easter eggs in there with William A. Hunting and Pendleton Clark. So there's, I think that you'll see that the nominator, I guess I should say, the researcher, Laura Purvis from Purvis Historic Preservation, did some great work with this. There are a number of benefits which recognition on the registers bring. So first and foremost, recognizing the our historic places helps to preserve neighborhood identity and strengthen our neighborhood. And also the documentation of historic significance encourages preservation efforts. It doesn't require it, but it encourages it. And also the research would be included in the National Register Archives public database. So this is information for posterity, for others to research and to learn from. Of course, there are many other benefits to being on the registers, but this item will appear before a joint session of the Virginia Board of Historic Resources and State Review Board on March 20th of this year. And just wanted to bring this to your attention.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Sure.
As a reminder, there is no action required. This is an opportunity to make comments that'll be sent on to the joint board meeting. I think in the past, we have made a motion of support, so that's always an option. But Charlotte's here, if you have any questions, and, yeah.
It's definitely good to support
Yeah.
this down the road as work might be considered for it being on the register. It would be available for historic tax credits,
Right.
which would add to the possibility of development, rehabilitation, et cetera.
Definitely in favor of supporting,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. I think it has great significance because of Dunbar, and so, which is no longer there, unfortunately. So, do I hear a motion that we enthusiastically support this application? Okay, is there a second? Second. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Good luck. Do you go to the meeting to present this? or-
So I will be watching virtually, and Laura Purvis from Purvis Historic Preservation will be presenting the
She's the
nominations.
presenter. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, all right, is there other business that we need to consider? If not, I declare us adjourned until St. Patrick's Day. Wear green.
We're a
Thank
step
you.
ahead.